As a comic shop owner, how do you make your customers aware of a new series that is coming out, or a new arc, or something they should add to their pull list? It's a hard problem to solve. And should the burden of marketing be on the comic shop? Well, yes and no. Let's talk about that. Hey there, this is Perch. This is spinning out a little bit of a discussion that comes up on social media, like clockwork, about every 2 to 3 months. A number of creators will kind of get together and complain that they're having to do all the marketing for their comic, and take the burden and take the work, where the publisher is not doing anything and they're not paid to do marketing. And what the hell? It's not fair. And I've done a video on this in the past, and to some extent they're right. It's not fair. I mean, the publishers do have, in theory, marketing departments, and also, if you've listened to me long enough, I don't think very highly of those marketing departments. I think everybody always complains about creators writing bad tweets, or the anti-Trump sentiment, or this or that, and I always come back to, I think that's all nice and good, but I think the biggest sin, if you will, the biggest problem within the big two publishers, at least, is a void of marketing, and that department who does a absolutely terrible job of actually promoting the books they're trying to sell. And that's, in my mind, a whole lot of a bigger reason why the comic industry struggles, as opposed to Nick Spencer saying I hate Trump people. I think it's nobody even knows Nick Spencer is saying that. I mean, the marketing is so bad. He's not even getting any attention for his tweets. He should get more attention for his tweets. Anyway, but comic shops have run into this problem where they've got pull lists, they've got people, and the pull list becomes a little bit of a trap over time, where a customer comes in, they put like 5 or 6 things on their pull list, and if they're in a hurry, and a lot of customers get to this point, they stop looking on the shelves. They just come in, they get their comics, and leave. And the challenge is comics are changing all the time, new things being offered. Publishers are trying to get people attracted to new comics. But when a customer gets locked into a pull list, they often don't even see these new comics. There aren't really ads inside the comics they're buying for the new comics. Sometimes maybe a bit, but not really. And the marketing, think about it from the customer point of view. The customer can go into a comic shop, buy what's in their box, leave, not look at the shelf. And they would never know a lot of things are going on. I was speaking to somebody recently, like Marvel just had an Annihilation event, a little cosmic event that they did with the Cancerverse, and Annihilus is part of it, and so on. And the customer's like, "How come I didn't see this? I didn't even know this thing existed." I'm like, "Well, how could you not? It was on the shelf." It's like, "I don't look at the shelf. I just buy what's in my box." And I'm like, "Well, did you see any of Marvel's marketing?" And I started, "What marketing?" And you'd have to you have to seek out Marvel's website, which is terrible in and of itself and doesn't often market the new things. Or you have to be subscribed to or Marvel's Facebook or Twitter page, and then read it. And the problem with that is, the Marvel ads look like ads, and you become very tuned very quickly to just ignore or hide or suppress those ads because you don't want to see them. And it's drowned out. I mean, if you're following like more than 100 people, those ads just get lost. I mean, right away. And so you're counting, if you're a comic creator or publisher, on there being buzz about the series. You're counting on, like I said at the beginning, the creator saying something. But that doesn't really help, because the shop, at least, because by the time the creators start talking about things, it's usually the week of release or right after it released. So that's great if you're going into the shop that week and you're going to browse around and maybe grab something that you read about. But this doesn't help pull list customers. This doesn't help the shop know how to order ahead of time. It's not like the folks who are doing the Annihilation event were 3 months ago before final cutoff were hyping this thing up. And even then, where do they hype? On Twitter? It's like the worst possible slow roll marketing you can think of. So that's not going to be any good. So it's a problem of how, one, who's going to do it. So it falls a lot in the case of the shop. And the shop, unfortunately, also is driven by the wrong factors. The shop is usually driven by the idea of, I over ordered Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child, and now I need to have the three little standees right by the register. I'm going to fill up with that thing because I've got this super expensive black label book. I'm just trying to get out of the store, so I'm just going to try and hype that at the register. And that's what's known as an opportunistic sale. That the shop is trying to basically dump inventory and get things out that maybe they over ordered on or had to order. And that's not, again, that's not going to help pull box customers. It's not going to promote things. So the shop has to get to this mode where they are kind of understanding their customer, which they should do anyway, and they are reaching out individual by individual and trying to promote new things that are coming up. So the burden of marketing, as much as some of the creators complain, the burden of marketing's really on the shop. And again, kind of like the graders, I don't think that's wrong. I think that the shop, is trying to stay in business and sell things and stay alive. So them marketing comics is not the worst idea in the world, and not wrong. But it also means that the shop needs the time and materials and information to market this stuff. And so it does wind up coming back to the publishers of helping out the shop, which in turn helps out orders, which helps out the industry. Because the shop can sit here and go, okay, I know that Box 32 likes Fantastic Four, and I see in previews that there's a Johnny Storm one shot of some kind, and it's written written by fan favorite Walter Simonson, so that's going to be a nifty issue. I need to make sure to reach out to Box 32 and say, hey, would you like this issue? And a lot of shops do that. But think about what I just said. Think about the mental gymnastics that a shop has to do for every single box. Unless they've built up a nice database for themselves and they can kind of search by title and do recommends and do attach sales in a clean and easy way. But that takes work. A lot of shops are not modernized in that sense. They have not brought their things up to speed, and so it's a hard. I mean, that's a challenge. Should the shops do this? I mean, absolutely, the shops should do this. The shops should invest the time, do it right, get this information out. But should they do it versus do they have the time to do it are two different things. And it does not help. This is why I rail on Diamond and the publishers for doing bad solicits. It doesn't help when Marvel is busy doing cutesy nonsense in the solicitations, which don't necessarily have anything to do with the book, doesn't help the retailers know what to order, doesn't help the fans know what to push for. This whole chain breaks. I got into not an argument, but I mean, it was clearly one of those, I'm assuming I got muted by Matt Rosenberg because I was complaining about some of the solicitations for one of the New Mutants, the limited series that he had done. And I'm like, this is stupid. And I'm thinking I'm insulting like an assistant editor or somebody. And I come to realize that I'm insulting Rosenberg himself, who apparently wrote the solicit. Hey, good times. But the solicitation was bad. I stand by what I said. It didn't describe the issue well. It didn't say who was in it. It was that kind of, the New Mutants think they've seen problems, but little do they know, more problems are on the way. Artist TBD. It's like, all right, that is worthless. What you've given me there, it's worthless. Somebody will come on and like, that's not exactly what the solicitation. No, I'm going off memory from like a year ago. So yes, that's not what the solicitation actually said. It's something close to that though. But you see the problem. You don't give the retailer a good sense of what's going on. The retailer then has to do additional gymnastics to market it to the customers, which many retailers will do anyway because they just want to stay in business and sell books, but it's not helpful. None of this helps the chain of getting a comic book out, sold, into hands. So should the comic store do marketing, get in the way? Again, we'll talk to customers and have this database and list things off and push them to titles that seem the same. If we know that Deathstroke is ending, do we, reach out proactively to the customer and say, Deathstroke's going to appear in Detective Comics, so would you like me to add that to your pull list because you like that character? Yes. Yes, the comic shop should do all of those things. But with what I would call not just minimal effort, but required effort from a comic book publisher and their marketing department, not only would that whole process be easier and more likely, but it would definitely add sales. I mean, if DC, for example, right now says we want to increase our sales by 20%, huge number, over the course of the next year, I would put a significant time investment and money investment into making a really great system for retailers for how to market, do attach sales, say, if you like this book, you'll like this book, and really put some effort into building up a nice, simple database that maybe the shops could inherit and use. That would be powerful, absolutely powerful. And it would be basically just free money that the publisher could give themselves, and they would see an increase in sales. Will they do it? Who knows? But it would be an incredibly smart thing to do. And, one would hope. But anyway, I mean, so does your comic store do this? I'm curious to hear your experiences, what your shop does for you, how pull boxes work. How do you feel about this marketing effort? Have you thought about it this way before? Does this help explain? Some people ask, why you're always complaining about marketing? This is why, for exactly this reason. So maybe that makes sense now. Leave me a comment below, argue with me, let me know your thoughts on the matter. Very curious to hear what you have to say. Like, subscribe, love your subscriptions. Please tell a friend. Let's get perched at 100,000. Why not shoot for the moon? It's fine. Follow me on Twitter at Comic Perch. Thank you for listening.